Maybe Pak Wisnu, the share screen. Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Okay, ready. Committee, please the curriculum vitae. Sorry, the screen is not show in my screen. Okay. Next. Next to the Dr. Sri Rahayu CV. Okay, so this is Dr. Sri Rahayu curriculum vitae. She had graduated graduated from bachelor, magister, and doctoral from IPB University. Now she worked as senior researcher on plant conservation with special subject on Indonesian HOYA. She worked at Research Center for Plant Conservation and Botanic Gardens, Bogor Botanic Gardens, Indonesian Institute of Science. In this, she will present about medicinal properties of Indonesian HOYA, opportunities and challenges for sustainable use. Please listen carefully, make notes and questions, if any, for discussion session at the end of the day. To Dr. Insinyur Sri Rahayu MSI, time yours.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, I would like to thanks to the organizing committee to give me the opportunity to share my my knowledge on Indonesian HOYA and medicinal properties of Indonesian HOYA. Firstly, I would like to share my slides. Is it okay? Can you hear my voice?
Yes, clear, Dr. Sri
Yeah.
Rahayu. But we still cannot see the slide. Okay, okay, no, okay.
But mine is still loading. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's my title, my presentation title, Medicinal Properties of Indonesian HOYA. HOYA is belong to the Apocynaceae family. It's epiphyte, yeah, plants, which is life in other plants, but different from parasite, yeah, because it's only attack in the trees, but not collect the food from the trees. It's the contents of my presentation, introduction, biology and botanical aspects of HOYA, and then traditional use of HOYA in medicines. And then I will review on chemical compound investigation on HOYA. Actually, I'm not a chemist, but I am botanist. But I collect the publication on chemical compound analysis. And maybe the role of endophyte, because our recent investigation on endophyte with our students in biology department in IPB, we found endophyte which has similar compound, produce similar compound with the HOYA plants.
Sorry, Dr. Sri Rahayu, can you
Yeah.
set your camera because we cannot see your face?
Oh,
Just
yeah. Is it okay?
maybe more slide. Yeah, okay. Now it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. And then little on genetic diversity, and then maybe omic research on HOYA, but still very little. And then opportunity and challenge are so future site for sustainable use. So we all know that Indonesia has been known as mega biodiversity country, which has traditional and local knowledge, especially on medicinal plants. We also know that biodiversity is the most valuable asset, should be used wisely, sustainability. And among them, we have HOYA, it's a genus, which has been used as traditional medicine in Indonesia and in Southeast Asian country, and also in Pacific Ocean country. HOYA is genus in Apocynaceae and Asclepiadaceae, which is known as source of medicine, but now become popular as ornamental plants because the beauty of the flowers and also the uniqueness of the leaves. It has a succulent leaf, fleshy leaf. And Indonesia has the most HOYA species in the world. Among the 400 species in the world, we have more than 100 species, maybe about 120 species. But the use in modern medicine is still unknown from HOYA. So I would like to explore the use of HOYA in medicine. Stuck. So now what is HOYA? HOYA is tropical and subtropical epiphyte. Need support from trees, belong to the family Apocynaceae, subfamily Asclepiadoideae, and mostly found in lowland forests, rarely in the highland forest. And this is the image HOYA as epiphyte. It's attached in the tree trunk, like in pandanus or some monocotyl and dicotyl trees. It has not specific preference. And this is the geographic distribution of HOYA from Himalayan region in India, Indochina, South China and South Japan, in Southeast Asia, including Papua, and then in the Eastern Samoa and Fiji Islands, and also in tropical Australia. I have mentioned before, there are about 400 species HOYA in the world, but we have up to 120 species in Indonesia only, because we are the center of the geographic distribution of HOYA. And as I mentioned before, HOYA can be found in lowland from the beach area to the mountain and subalpine, but the maximum distribution is only in 2,000 meters above sea level. But the most species grow in the lowland forest. So mostly climber, but rarely, maybe sometimes not climbing, but like a small shrub as epiphyte, and sometimes lithophyte attack in the stone or stone, but mostly in trees. Leaf arrangement opposite the gusset, mostly succulent. Inflorescence in umbel, calyx and corolla 5 petals, basically star-shaped. Corolla and corolla waxy and ginostegium, because anther and stigma in the one body. And the pollen is not like another flowers. It's massed to the pollinia, similar to orchid. And it's almost all of the plants covered by wax layer, and so called as wax plants or porcelain flower. Here is the habits of HOYA as climber and as small shrubs as epiphyte. And this is the leaf type. There are 3 types of leaves, succulent or fleshy, and intermediate and thin leaves. This type of leaves has implication to the photosynthetic pathway, as the succulent leaves usually has CAM or crassulacean acid metabolism for photosynthetic pathway, and the thin leaves has C3 photosynthetic pathway or Calvin cycle, and sometimes has facultative CAM, and sometimes belong to the condition like the availability of CO2. It can be moved from CAM to C3. And this is the flower type. It has like a campanulate flower in the left, and reflex flower in the second left, and star shapes and revolute flowers in the right. But basically, it has star shapes. And this is the corona types. And this is the pollinia types. And fruit is follicle type, and it has seeds. It is parachute type, and so the seed dispersed by wind, and sometimes ants collected the seeds to the ant nest, and then they grow it to collect extrafloral nectaries from young leaves, and after produce flower, it's also collect the nectar from the flower. This is the example of Indonesian Hoya diversity, which is popular as ornamental plants. But not only the beauty of the flower, it's also contain the medicinal properties. This is the another research from University of Georgia in 2009. Hoya carnosa has the high efficiency to absorb VOC, or volatile organic compound, which has usually emitted in indoor environment, like in our room. The capacity of Hoya, it's higher than Sansevieria. As we know before, Sansevieria has high capacity to absorb pollutant, indoor pollutants, but Hoya has, according to this study, Hoya has higher capacity than Sansevieria. So it's very prospective to use Hoya as indoor plant, not only for this beauty, but also for the capacity to absorb volatile organic compound. So it make a healthier room and refreshing. Another information, Hoya is now becoming popular as ornamental plants, especially in Europe, USA, and Australia, which has in Europe and USA there is no natural Hoya, but they have to import Hoya from original country, and maybe it's about $1 and till $100 US dollars for one cutting only. And in Japan, there is pharmaceutical and development research based on Hoya, because they have Hoya carnosa from Ryukyu Islands. And in Germany, there are leaf tincture used for insulin substitution, up to 50% to substitute the insulin. But we have in Indonesia, maybe still underutilized. But we have traditional record as medicine, and it has been investigated as bioinsecticide to the Aedes aegypti. So Hoya is belong to the family Apocynaceae, which is rich in alkaloid contents, and subfamily Asclepiadoideae. Formerly, subfamily Asclepiadoideae is spirit family from the Apocynaceae and mentioned as family Asclepiadaceae, and that's come from Asclepius, the god of medicine and healing in ancient Greek mythology. In the fact, there are rare of predator or herbivory, pest and disease for HOYA, and it has unpleasant smell. So, sorry, I have to charge my battery. Okay. So, because it's belong to the Asclepiadaceae and Apocynaceae, it should be have the medicinal properties content. We have record the traditional use of HOYA from Zakos in 2005, from Burkil in HOYA in Malaysia, Heine in Indonesia, and Wisumbing, Ambasta, and so on. This is the former records on the medicinal use of HOYA. And I also found an online advertisement of female tonic using HOYA from Bali, I think. This is the leaf of HOYA using in the mix. But I guess there is no medicinal test before. It's called CHAM. So this is the HOYA species used as traditional medicine. It's HOYA australis, distributed in eastern Indonesia, Australia, and Papua New Guinea. HOYA coriacea from Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. HOYA coronaria from Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. And HOYA diversifolia from Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, Borneo, and HOYA carnosa in North Sulawesi and Philippines, Vietnam, and South Japan and South China. Next, HOYA finlaysonii from Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, and Borneo. HOYA coriacea from, sorry, this is HOYA lacunosa from Java, Sumatra, and Borneo. HOYA latifolia from Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. HOYA lasianta from Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. And HOYA imbricata from Sulawesi. HOYA imbricata occur in Sulawesi and Philippines. And then HOYA multiflora from India to Papua New Guinea. This is HOYA multiflora has wide geographic distribution. And HOYA purpureo fusca from Java and Bali. And HOYA waimani from Borneo. And HOYA verticillata from Indochina, Malaysia, Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. This is the summary of local medicine use of HOYA species. You can see here uses for one species only, HOYA australis, used to treat so many symptoms like burn after birth, tonic, sedative, bleeding, swelling, TBC, orchitis spiroderm, and so on. And Hoya carnosa, encephalitis, orchitis spiroderm, and so on. And Hoya coriacea, asthma, Hoya coronaria, gastritis, diversifolia, rheumatism, arthritis rheumatism, anti-poison, Hoya finlaysonii, anti-poison, and it is also recorded from Marina Silalahi in Batak Karo. It has also anti-cancer properties. And Hoya imbricata from Sulawesi for elephantiasis, spiroderm, wound, asthma, and so on. Hoya lacunosa, spiroderm, wound, insect sting, and so on. Hoya lasianta for toothache from Kalimantan. And Hoya latifolia for insect repellent, anti-dysentery, and bronchitis. Hoya multiflora for rheumatism and stomach ache. And Hoya purpurea fusca, anti-poison, female tonic, and viroderm. And Hoya waimani for, Hoya verticillata, wound, gonorrhea, and so on. And Hoya waimani for stomach ache. You can see here with the blue letter, it's indicate for anti-inflammatory in general, and with the red letter indicate as antibiotic. So we make the grouping of 14 species of Hoya used for 26 symptoms and disease. And there is no species specific, only Hoya lasianta for toothache. And Hoya australis has the most around for so many symptoms. And if we see in the symptom, viroderm can be treated with most of Hoya species. So the two main group is as anti-inflammatory and antibiotic or anti-infection. And there is also record on anti-poison, yeah. Anti-poison may be in correlation with antioxidant, maybe, yeah. I don't know because need to confirmation. But there are some studies for antibacterial activity from Hoya. Here I choose Hoya parasitica, but another Hoya also reported from Malaysia, such as Hoya diversifolia recently. And this is confirm the use of Hoya as antibacterial. And another study also anti-radical and antimicrobial activity from Hoya wittii and Hoya ovalifolia from India. Formerly, Hoya parasitica is synonym of Hoya verticillata. This Hoya is distributed from India, Indochina, Southeast Asia, till Sumatra, Java, and Borneo, also in Bali and Lombok Island. But Hoya whitei and Hoya ovalifolia only in Asia mainland, especially in India. And this is also a confirmation for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity of Hoya kerrii, species from Thailand. It has the typically heart-shaped leaf. But we have the close relation here as Hoya diversifolia. But there is no investigation for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity yet. Another confirmation for antioxidant from Hoya parasitica. This is from Bangladesh. And in 2015, there is a patent application in the USA for using Hoya carnosa extract as anti-aging for cosmetics. Yeah. Here. And we move to the chemical compound research. It has been investigated a long time ago, such as in Japan, in Germany, used as substitute for insulin, as I mentioned before, and yes, indoors. So in 1980, there is study in Utrecht, but chemical for taxonomic study based on the chemical content, especially from latex and leaf extract. And then in Melbourne in 1919, in Queensland in 1940, they are looking for anti-tumor activity, but they have no positive result. But then in the new investigation, it has a positive result. This one is oligosaccharide from Japan. And this is the cytotoxicity potential of Hoya parasitica from Bangladesh. And this is the new investigation in Philippines started from 2015 up to now, and there are about 10 species investigated and published. This is the samples from Hoya mendorensis. This Hoya is endemic to Philippines and has high genetic diversity. And this is the examples of chemical investigation of Hoya species in the Philippines. Some of them is the same species as in Indonesia, like Hoya multiflora, Hoya diversifolia, and Hoya sumingiana. And most of the chemical content was similar. It's contain lupinon, luteol, squalene, sitosterol, and so on. And for HOYA mindorensis and HOYA multiflora and also HOYA diversifolia and another HOYA, it's still has the similar chemicals like luteol and amirin, squalene, stigmasterol, and so on. Our recent study in the endophyte from HOYA multiflora, it's produce similar chemicals from chemicals from HOYA multiflora, compared with the result from the Philippines. It has linolenic acid and phenol, sigmasterol, linolenic acid, sigmasterol, and phenol, and has positive antibacterial activities, both for gram-positive and gram-negative. And so these findings reveal the, maybe we have question, is the chemical compound produced from the plants or produced by the endophyte? The identified endophyte is Bacillus similar to Bacillus according to the RNA analysis. It's similar to Bacillus artabatae. This is the qualitative analysis in Bogor from HOYA diversifolia, but we have no quantitative and analysis. Only like this, contain flavonoids, not alkaloids, but it's only preliminary study. We have to more investigation. The genetic diversity in HOYA can be observed from morphological variation, both from leaves and flowers, from isozyme in HOYA multiflora, ISSR from HOYA mindorensis, FLP and RPD, and from all of the investigation, the species with a wide geographic and altitudinal distribution usually has high genetic diversity among population, and species with restricted distribution has lower genetic diversity among population. But the correlation to the medicinal properties is not studied yet. It's need a metabolomic study, I think. And genomic research on HOYA only from genomics, both nuclear and chloroplast DNA, mainly for DNA barcoding and phylogenetic analysis. There is no metabolomic analysis yet in HOYA, but there is about 2,000, more than 2,000 sequences has been submitted to NCBI, and both from 200, sorry, I cannot see because 247 species. So only 50% of HOYA species, yeah, because there are about 400 species of HOYA. And for whole genome sequence. Up to now, only 3 species from China. It's the Hoya carnosa, Hoya liangi I, and Hoya pochi I. And maybe in the next year, we can see most of Hoya with the whole genome sequencing. So the opportunity of Indonesian Hoya for medicine or drug discovery is in the 3 area, like in anti-inflammatory, antibiotic, antimicrobes, and antioxidant for pharmaceutical, I think. So Indonesia has the high diversity of Hoya species and also high genetic diversity, and has ethnomedicinal records, and has multi-purpose for functional ornamental plant, potential for drug and cosmetics, especially for personal care as anti-aging, skin care, and easy to propagate. And recently, I seen at the cosmetic advertisement, they use extract from the flowers of Hoya lacunosa, produced by the famous industry, famous company in UK and Paris, Crodarom. They use extract, they produce Hoya lacunosa flower extracts and have been used in the skincare product like mask, face mask, and face oil, and so on. But the challenge is we face the habitat degradation. So the population is decreasing because of habitat degradation, and we still facing the weakness on science, technology, and innovation. So we have to improve our capacity in that area. Maybe this is just my opinion. I don't know about the timing because I don't know about how the drug research now. Firstly, we have to plant collection, ex situ collection, like domestication and cultivation characterization. And then we have to gathering all of the information, especially in the chemicals and in vivo characterization, in vitro and in vivo. And then research mapping on Hoya omics. And then prototyping for a drug from Hoya, and then drug industry. That's maybe my opinion, yeah. How to sustainable use of Indonesian Hoya species, maybe not only for source for drug and cosmetic, but we start from the current knowledge on Hoya, and we have plenty Hoya diversity, but in we have to conduct it in conservation with 3 main activity, safe, study, and use. Not only safe, but also we have to study and use wisely. Safe with ex situ conservation, like in botanic gardens and another living collection, and also in situ in conservation area and regulation to stop the potency of extinction of our species diversity. And then after that, we have to study in the domestication and bioprospecting. And in the upstream, we have to conduct species inventory, population status, and genetic diversity. And for use as a functional ornamental plant, it can be used as pollutant absorbent. And for pharmaceutical source, drug and cosmetics. And for the in situ, we can use it for education and ecotourism. Yeah, this is my opinion. So thank you for your attention. Okay. Back to the MC, I think.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, thank you, ma'am. It's such an interesting topic. Thank you, Dr. Insinyur Sirahaya, MSI. Okay, next, we will take a look at video profile of Tropical Biopharmaca Research Center by the committee. So, enjoy the video.
Indonesia has the most dense forests in the world after Amazon. The tropical climate and volcanic soil are rich. Both are the perfect blend for the development of medicinal plants. Capitalize on all these features. We IPB researchers who are competent synergistic in the Tropical Biopharmaca Research Center or TropBRC. The name Biopharmaca is taken from animals, plants, and microbes that have the potential as medicine, health food, functional food, and nutraceutical. Researchers who join under the umbrella of TropBRC, as many as 66 people from various multidisciplines. Operations at TropBRC are assisted by 22 staff of research assistants, administration, technicians, and analysts. TropBRC founder, Professor Tony Ungerer, Professor Dunin Sayuti, Professor Suminar Setiati Ahmadi, Professor Dudu Darusman, and Professor Latifa Kadarusman, determined to develop science and technological innovation to anticipate demands and changes in the use of biopharmaceuticals. TropBRC is also involved in the preparations of Roadmap Indonesian Herb and academic texts to pioneer the draft herbal medicine law. In its journey, various awards have been achieved by the Center of Tropical Biopharmaceutical Study, both at the individual researcher level and at the institutional level. TropBRC has also obtained ISO 9001-2015 and ISO 7025 certificates for laboratories. Status as a leading center of science and technology was awarded in December 2013. 2014, obtained Prayogasala, or Award for the Best R&D Institution from the Ministry of Research and Technology. The TropBRC is headed by the head of the center with the following vision. TropBRC has a number of divisions, namely Natural Resources and Biopharmaceutical Cultivation Utilizations Division, Product Development Division, Divisions of Community Empowerment and Development of the Biopharmaceutical Market, Cooperations and Network Division. To support its research activities, TropBRC has 5 units: Biopharmaca Conservation and Cultivation Station, which provides services to supply raw material for medicinal plants, various types of cyclical medicinal plants, seedling medicinal plants, identifications of medicinal plants, land rental services for research and research on medicine, garden visits and apprenticeships, as well as cultivations of crops. Laboratory of Tropical Biopharmaca Research Center, providing services form of quality testing services for biopharmaceutical ingredients or medicinal plants, such as the content of compounds contained, plant cyclical bioactivity, as well as product safety, biological and chemical security. Some tests can be carried out in biopharma laboratory, including qualitative and quantitative chemical content of plant, such as cercaminoid content in turmeric rhizome, androgapholida in bitter plant, sinensetin in catswis, gingerol, ginger, etc. Lab can also perform bioactivity tests such as antioxidant activity, inhibitions of the tyrosine enzyme, enzyme alpha-glucosidase, and so on. Some tests have entered the scope of ISO 1725 accreditations and have been validated with the quality of the results of a guaranteed analysis. These services are reported in the form of an analysis certificate. Animal Testing Laboratory, which provide services to academics, researchers, industry, the private sector, and the public, including the provisions of animal testing mice in mice, as well as preclinical testing services, including anti-diabetic, anti-cholesterolemia, anti-inflammatory, acute toxicity testing, subchronic toxicity, teratogenic toxicity, hepatoprotector, breast milk booster, immunomodulatory, and aromatherapy. We also develop anti-diabetic, anti-cholesterol, and obesity research using zebrafish. Other activities are pangolin animal conservation, pangolin feed formulations and development. Unit Pilot Plan and Workshop is one of the units in the organizational structure of the Tropical Biopharmaceutical Study Center, LPPM-IPB. One of the UPPW work programs is to provide training and or assistance to the public consumers regarding standardizations of raw material and herbal medicinal products or herbal medicine, post-harvest handling, biopharmaceutical product technology, good manufacturing practices or GMP, and CPOTB, cooperates with related divisions or sections and coordinates training, workshop activities for biopharmaceutical stakeholders. Some of the training, workshop activities that we carried out, among others. Unit Informations and Public Relation. This unit aims to disseminate information on TropBRC activities to the public and stakeholders through websites and exhibitions at home and abroad. In addition to disseminating the results of the 2 studies from researchers in the TropBRC Biopharma field published JAMU Journal, which has been accredited from the Ministry of Research, Technology, and Higher Education. TropBRC has developed information technology-based services, including TropBRC Management Information System, including management of research information, management of information on human resources, management of facilities and infrastructure information, and financial reporting information system. Predictive system of herbal formula based on network pharmacology and machine learning, or CEJA. This computing system can compress the formula candidates for certain properties. And now, TropBRC will continue to strive to carry out the mandate, give the best for Indonesia and the international world.
Okay, thank you. First,